we're here once again for Wrestle DX Plus Alpha. That's Kev and Kristian. We're here, ready to roll once again for another episode for your viewing pleasure. So we got a lot to talk about, but we're gonna keep it brief while also keeping the flow going. So there's a few things we've got to recap. We've got to recap Evolution, Crown Jewel, Power Struggle, because of course all them huge events have happened in a very short period of time. But you probably already know the details, so we don't want to hold you down, but we want to talk about some of the bullet points that happened throughout them. So Evolution up first then. As W is shouting from the rooftops, it's the first women's pay-per-view, although being completely inaccurate. But the show, what was your thoughts, man? What was your thoughts going into Evolution?
What, Evolution?
Yes.
Good stuff. Good stuff. To be honest, I think they did everything that they needed to do. They made sure that every match, at best, was above average match.
Yeah, agreed.
I think that the Trish and Lita versus Mickie James and Alicia Fox, last minute change there because of injury. I think that had too many changes for everyone to be invested in. I think that hurt that match, and also Alicia Fox was added to it, of all the people.
Yeah. You know what Alicia Fox's biggest thing was for like the last 2 years? I don't know what she's done on the main shows at all, but literally she was there just as the person who Noam Dar fancied on 205 Live. For 2 years.
She also did the creative thing where like she got beat and then she go outside the ring and tear everything up for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
She did that as well for a little bit.
Give us a reason to care. Come on, we know you can do it, girl. So, Banks, Bailey, and Natalia versus the Riot Squad. I actually quite enjoyed that match, as a match goes, with lots of multi-women in there. I thought there was some interesting spots. I thought that Natalia had a good showing. I thought perhaps it was Bailey's perhaps strongest match that she's had out, apart from singles matches, where she actually felt like she was in character a bit. And she kind of had the ability just to go with her own flow and stuff, and lots of her own moves and signature stuff, which she typically hasn't done of late. So I quite liked her in that. I thought Ruby Riot's getting finally finding her stride as kind of the leader of the pack. She kind of you saw her in the corner directing traffic, as well as cutting the ring off when she was in charge of it. I liked that because she was playing heel with it. I think they have a little as a faction. I think they're growing in terms of their skill and their ability on each other. I really liked it.
Yeah, Ruby Riot's finally becoming the leader as opposed to the babysitter of them two.
Yeah.
They're becoming their own characters in their own right, which is what they needed to do. I always thought those two had been brought up a bit too quick, but as we know, the WWE wants to pad out the women's division.
Sure. I did think I'm assuming you watched the Mae Young Classic matches between Toni Storm and Rika Satomura, which is fucking awesome.
Absolutely.
Fucking my god, that was good.
Yes.
I am surprised they didn't put her into the Battle Royal.
There was no Mae Young women. There was no NXT women in the Battle Royal. It surprised me. It did surprise me.
Me too, because they had an interesting spot. What I thought was interesting, we had the legends in the centre fighting off against the young blood, kind of stalking them. That was a nice graphic to look at. But then it just kind of all fell apart after that. And it was just like a multi-women match with people just running around the ring. And I didn't feel much was told in that. And I really think the one thing I thought hurt it was Victoria not being there.
Yeah. Victoria should be highlighted in all this women's evolution. She played her part. And Jazz as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Jazz is another one I feel that's just been left out in the cold when it's unnecessary.
Yeah, because you see them like propping Trish and Lita, and they rightfully should do, and Molly, and even Kelly to a degree, but then not even mentioning like the efforts put in by Jazz and Victoria, who literally they did that women's evolution thing back 2002 2003, as part of the Ruthless Aggression stuff, and that was great. That's the reason we watched women's wrestling in the first place. I think for a lot of people, that's why they were first taken in by Lita doing her moonsault and Satisfaction off the ropes and stuff, and that told a story. It's been 10 years plus since we've had the evolution we've had now.
Yeah, as the women's division's always gone. I mean, you can look back through history as far back as you possibly can. Women's wrestling has its moments, then it dies down to the point where occasions the titles disappeared, and then they think, let's make a go of it again, and they reintroduce the title, and they come out strong, and then it slowly
Fizzles
fades
off it.
away as the good women either go to greener pastures or retire or injured.
Yeah, and then there's
And
nothing. No, I think women.
WWE's finally really putting behind it.
Yeah, I think there was the other women's evolution period where you had girls like Beth Phoenix coming through, who looked like a legit competitor as opposed to being a pretty girl, which was the case for quite some time, doing gravy bowl matches and silly stuff. It was good to see women finally having their platform high. I thought Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane was a good match. It's good to see NXT being recognised by the main roster. That generally doesn't necessarily happen. Although I was told that the by a guy at work, he said he read it as he does because he went to the NXT UK shows where they crowned Rhea Ripley as women's champion. Because that hasn't happened on TV yet, they didn't have her at the show, which is a bit odd. Although she was there, but not with the belt.
The WWE started the WWE NXT UK tape airings later than they originally anticipated, and the NXT UK Women's Championship was supposed to be defended on that event.
Yes,
but it wasn't. In fact, if you have a look in the dark matches, Rhea Ripley defended against Dakota Kai for that title in a dark match.
Non-televised dark match. Wow, that's no, I didn't
For a
realise
belt
that.
that's not even been unveiled yet.
Yeah. How does that even work? How does that even work? Only in the world of the WWE universe, I guess.
But also, just as a quick note, because of this and Mae Young Classic finishing, WWE has started doubling up on the WWE NXT UK taping show airings. Last week there was 2.
All right, okay.
Episode 3 and 4 was on the same day.
All right, okay, that's a good idea to double it up and get it caught up a bit more. So I guess there's nothing worse than women sitting in the back going, "I've got a belt here." And like, no, I don't really, but yeah, you just make yourself look silly, don't you? So I'm wondering whether they're going to go with the NXT belt, but on a white strap or a pink strap. We're
They
looking.
don't need to, and I hope they don't. Just leave it alone.
So what colour's best? Black, black belt. Because didn't you like?
Sorry, what was that?
I was going to say, what colour belt then is best?
Just leave it as black. Just leave it alone. Stop playing with things. Stop turning everything blue and red.
But talking of belts that look terrible. Talking of belts that look really odd. Braun Strowman getting his green belt from the Greatest Royal Rumble. I ain't seen that since. He doesn't come out wearing that at all.
Yeah, I'm sure he's just nailed that up on his wall, or he uses something to bring his drinks in when he gets cold.
So I get that brings us, I guess, to the next point about WWE Crown Jewel. And that was a couple of days ago. Was it a couple of days?
Yeah, Crown Jewel. There was some controversy around that. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember where it was, where it aired from. I can't remember.
Oh yeah.
I don't know about you.
No.
I'm not sure.
What?
There was something about it. It was WWE Crown Jewel, and the great fans there at Crown Jewel.
No.
They had a fantastic time at Crown Jewel.
Yeah. Yeah, the good old Saudi Arabia. The land of the free and home of the brave.
Where? Where's that?
Who knows? The moon.
Oh.
No, so I haven't seen it. Although again, I was at work and I got home and I saw the results and went, oh, okay, I don't want to bother now. Not because I didn't want to, and I didn't care. I just thought, oh, okay. I left it at that really, because I thought perhaps there's going to be a kind of look. Am I missing it?
Would you like me to give it a very quick rundown?
Yeah, go on, friend. Was it really worth watching?
Right. On the kickoff show, Nakamura had a pretty decent match with Rusev to retain the US title, which probably about 4 people in the entire world watched. The quarterfinals World Cup matches started off with Ray versus Orton in a match that lasted about 5 minutes. And it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Them two got great chemistry. And I'll tell you one thing. Ray come off the top rope with a springboard and Orton nailed him with a perfectly timed drop kick. And when Ray got hit with it, he wasn't touching the floor and he landed hard on his back. It was a spectacular moment.
It's like, welcome back, Ray.
Oh, it was beautiful. Yeah. Hi, Ray. Welcome back.
It's time to get hurt
Randy's
again.
back. Randy's always been here. He's been waiting for you. Randy doesn't like people that return. But Ray got a quick pin. Next match, The Miz went over Jeff Hardy clean. Yes, that's right. The Miz, Jeff Hardy, clean in about 5 minutes. In their first time ever, Seth Rollins versus Lashley.
Okay.
Pretty decent match. Again, match lasted about 5 minutes. There was one spot where Lashley hit Rollins with this high slam, and you could see either dazed Rollins or it just knocked the wind clean out of him. But the ref had to hold Lashley back for just a second and check on Rollins. He was not funny one way or another.
What?
But again, not a bad match. Pretty decent.
Because you can have. There's nothing wrong with having a quick match. If you get over all the points of a story, it's absolutely fine. You can have a 5-6 minute match, as long as you get all your stuff in there.
Yeah, I mean, it worked with Ray and Orton because they did a lot of back and forward stuff because they know each other very well. They were able to counter their counters and still do some really nice stuff. Ray went for the 619, Orton stopped it, spun his legs round, did the draping DDT. Looked very cool.
All right, cool.
Still something new between them, but you know, it was very nice stuff.
Angle came back, wasn't it?
Yeah, Angle, Kurt Angle, in his first singles match in the WWE against Ziggler, and Angle lost clean to Ziggler. It was another decent match. Again, short, but it was strange. Two heels, both went over clean.
Interesting.
Then you had the Bar defeat New Day in a tag team match for the titles, and that was that. Semi-finals match for the World Cup. The Miz defeated Ray again, clean, in a longer match. Ziggler went over Seth Rollins in it was a good match. It wasn't too long, but we've seen these two go at it over and over again recently. So it was a case of I don't need to see this. I'm gonna go get myself a coffee. And then the bell rings, and it's like, oh my god, Ziggler won!
Crazy. So was that pretty short?
It wasn't short, but for them, it was. I mean, they had an Iron Man match not too long ago. So.
Yeah, of course. So, then it was Styles and Joe, wasn't it?
Yeah, which was pretty much the match of the night, as you'd expect. Some stuff that they've pulled out before, a shorter version of what they normally do. But yeah, that happened. And this is where the event just went meow. Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman for the vacant Universal title.
Of course, Roman Reigns has obviously vacated the title. I still don't know if that was a good idea to actually vacate it. I don't know.
Under the circumstances, I think it was a good idea. And then they pulled what they pulled in this match.
Okay.
If you don't know, Strowman was there, minding his own business, getting ready to give Lesnar these hands, which sounds like something a scary glove puppeteer would say, but still. He was about to attack him, and Baron Corbin, for no apparent reason other than he's a dick, smacked Strowman in the back of the head with the belt. 5 F5s later, including one over the top rope, and Brock Lesnar walks out with the belt again.
So that leads to the inevitable question: is Brock going to stay with WWE for a while? I did read the other day that apparently he's got 3 appearances as is left on his contract now, so that might mean he'll have 3 pay-per-view appearances. That might even mean that's when he's going to appear on Raw once of them.
He's appearing on Raw next week, apparently.
Okay.
So I'm to understand. Now, there's enough shenanigans in that match for me to go, oh. And then it was the World Cup Finals.
Yeah, well, even though all the guys were from America. Well, apart from Ray, I guess he's from San Antonio.
Yeah. Yes, well, Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz. The Miz goes in all heel, attacks Ziggler before the bell. He gets pulled off. They start the match. They go at each other like two fucking crazy lunatics, and then all of a sudden, the Miz goes, "I heard a pop. I heard a pop, but I'm never injured. I heard a pop." And then they pull Miz, and it's like, "Oh no, what should we do? We'll award the World Cup to Ziggler. That's what we'll do because he's injured. Because the Miz is injured, he can't compete." By the way, on the SmackDown previous, Shane McMahon said, "Whoever makes it to the finals and doesn't win, don't bother coming back." Which doesn't make any sense to me, considering like they're the one that's put the best effort in. Surely the guys that didn't get that far should have been the ones that got in trouble.
Yeah, you'd think so. In terms of a public.
But anyway, we were given another match that's never happened before. When Shane McMahon decides, "I shall save the day and I shall compete in the Miz's place."
Yay.
2.5 minutes later, Ziggler's defeated after a coast-to-coast dropkick, which was pretty sweet. I'll give him that. And Shane McMahon is the best wrestler in the world.
Yeah, I've seen the memes. I've seen those memes.
Yes, Shane McMahon is the best wrestler in the world.
So the best wrestler in the world.
The greatest. Sorry,
I was going to say, is that a tease for like CM Punk, which I know that there was a chant for?
Yeah, of course there was.
Best in the world.
Yeah, that's CM Punk apparently. But
Yeah.
no, it's Shane McMahon now. Anytime you hear "best in the world," it's Shane McMahon. And then like it was the greatest match in the history of anything. I don't know about you, but if the crown jewel cut off here, I wouldn't have cared. DX versus the Brothers of Destruction in a once upon a time we were mocked WCW for having old people run around the ring for a really long time in a very slow manner.
And that's exactly what happened here. He's too old for
Yeah.
this shit, as he said.
Yeah, like 5 years ago, this match would have probably been ended half its time that it did because they'd have got the stuff in all that quicker. And just in case anybody didn't notice, when Triple H got chokeslammed through the table, he is legitimately injured.
Yes,
He tore his pectoral muscle. And by the way, it looks grim. If you've seen the pictures on any of the social media, all of this region is black. It is horrible. It is just mean. And this now puts the possibility of Triple H versus Batista at WrestleMania in jeopardy. There's every chance that Triple H will not be healed up in time.
No, I don't think there would be. Not for a competitive match of any kind, really. You could probably do a run-in or a ref spot, maybe.
Or maybe they'll cancel it until SummerSlam, which would make sense. I'd rather see it at SummerSlam with 100% Triple H than 25% Triple H.
So the other big show of this week was New Japan Pro Wrestling's Power Struggle. Power Struggle is a weird show, really. It's kind of sits in between the end of the G1 and the going to Wrestle Kingdom. It kind of sits in the halfway point there. But it's where a lot of the big decisions in New Japan have happened. It's where Kenny Omega became leader of the Bullet Club. It's where like Ibushi got his IC title last year. So it's a big deal. So it's one of the big shows. And of course, the main draw of this show was Jericho having his first Intercontinental defense against Evil. I think Evil kind of interjected himself in this match a few months ago by just happening to be in the ring, and Jericho insulted him for the sheer sake of it. I think he happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, but actually, as Jericho teased it, perhaps is Evil's most highest profile match now. And I thought he did a good job, actually. It was a decent match. There was a dodgy spot with the table, because New Japan tables appear to be quite real, as opposed to the ones that break in your centre. That's a bit dodgy. So it has like a metal rim underneath the table, which looks a bit stronger than it should be, but the table itself looks weak as fuck. And there's a particular spot where they are at the entranceway, so they're on the ring apron, facing the entranceway, and Evil goes for his Uranagi, his finisher, a bit like a rock bottom kind of slam STO style, to Jericho, but Jericho kind of turns his body to look where the table is, and as such his leg lands over the where the edge of the table is. It really buckles pretty badly, and you can tell that he takes a hell of a beating after that. It wasn't pretty, but the match was good. Match was pretty solid. I
I
guess
thought Power Struggle was a bit lacking. I mean, I've not been into it. There's not been many proper teams.
no, I didn't think there was either. Apart from the Roppongi 3K match was pretty decent. That was a three-way tornado. And it wasn't tornado. It was scrum match. You can kind of tag anyone you wanted. There was Suzuki Gun in there. There was Lij in there. So lots of different mixes happening in the ring at any one time. Lots of spots changing around. And Roppongi 3K going to win that, and Rocky Romero taking all the credit at the end of it. It was pretty funny. But what I did think was really interesting, they had the British Undisputed Heavyweight title on there between Ishii, who's the current title holder, and Suzuki, who of course are New Japan wrestlers, but they have such a good relationship with UK promotion RevPro, of where most of Lij and most of the New Japan guys come over to tour in the UK go to. So it was interesting to see what effectively is a British heavyweight title, perhaps the biggest, most prestigious show they've ever been on in quite a long time. And the match, Ishii and Suzuki, they don't like each other personally. They hit each other quite a bit in the back. There's a lot of anger between them. So you do kind of wonder, some of the hits, are they being professional and having a good match, or are they just actually fucking hitting each other for the sheer sake of it? There's an interesting blur line there.
Out, sir.
Yes, and it really goes well with them. Are you no selling, or are you really taking that like a bitch? But that was just a slugfest. But yeah, beautiful, them two guys. And the fact that Suzuki is 50 years old, he's more than 50, but he looks as agile as a guy at 25. Crazy.
Yeah, he's kept himself in phenomenal.
Yeah, and he was an early UFC fighter. He did MMA. He toured Noah for quite a while, for like 10 years almost, before making his return to New Japan, which was what 2015, 2016 when he came back in. He had kind of like the samurai kind of warrior's hair, and he lost that at Wrestle Kingdom last year. And he's been on a tirade of abuse ever since. And I love the guy. He's just brutal. It's like watching a guy who gets his knuckles in there, gets his elbows in there. And him and Zack Sabre as a team work absolutely perfect together. He had a good match actually as well.
Yes, against Naito.
Yes.
I would just like to say that these are interesting times we're in. Now, I've touched on this before, where I think New Japan and the WWE are really stepping on each other's toes.
Yes.
And as we all know, in January, the Elite come up for their contract negotiations. Now, will they stay with New Japan? Will they go to greener pastures? Will WWE finally get Kenny Omega? Interesting things to say. We're not quite sure. No one knows. But the interesting thing that Cody Rhodes has alluded to is the possibility of All In 2.
Hi, that's right. So
now, to me, this would say that there will not be a WWE contract, at least in Cody Rhodes' future.
Yes. So apart from sticking together as a team, as a group, that might not happen. It might be that they're going to do something more interesting, and perhaps go their own way, go independent, or stick independent rather, not go independent. But you're right. Absolutely interesting times. You have like New Japan has approached Nakamura, Gallows, and Anderson to bring back the Bullet Club, and Nakamura apparently isn't happy with his position in WWE, but he's a champion. What's all that about? But then you got Naito being approached by WWE after Dominion with Jericho, which is turned down and wants to make New Japan prestigious again because there's too many gaijin wrestlers, he says. So, that I think there's everyone stepped up their game to make theirs the most important place to be. I do think New Japan's got a long way to go in terms of how to market itself, because I think it really struggles with its identity, if anything. It doesn't know how to market its stars very well. I don't know. As with WWE,
yeah, at the same time, there's just the other week that New Japan's characters and wrestlers have been in so many new games.
Yeah, they have,
and not all of them wrestling.
No, they really haven't. No. I guess maybe they're going away in a very different way. The way that we do it, say in the West, is you promote them, you talk about them, you shout them, you share them. In New Japan, they have to fight for it. They have to earn every spot they get. And I guess it's part of the culture, perhaps.
Yeah, that's the thing that attracts you to New Japan, is because it's so different from the WWE.
Yeah. I mean, do we want like loads of lunch boxes and magazines with Naito and Okada on, or do we not want that? We want a serious promotion where the guys appear to be going for fighting spirit.
To be fair, if the WWE, New Japan, or any other promotion can get away with the lunch boxes, the figures, the calendars, the T-shirts, and all the rest, good on them. Because the money that comes into that goes into the company, makes it better. So.
It does, yeah. And you can hire new people, new stars, or just your production values go up, or the venues you run bigger. And I guess you can't really run bigger than Madison Square Garden and the Tokyo Dome in terms of the world, really. Maybe Wembley, but that hasn't happened in I don't know how long.
Yeah, very true. It'd be interesting to see how things all pan out. But New Japan is running the two shows that you're saying. They run Tokyo Dome all the time. That's home. And come next year, around WrestleMania weekend, they've got Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, and I think WWE will do as much as they can to take people away from that. Whether it be offer lucrative contracts, whether you kind of sabotage the competition, as it were, by
because the WWE's never sabotaged the competition before, not ever.
No,
not ever. That's never happened.
No,
talking nonsense.
Someone was telling me the other day, and I think I brought it up last time, how they wanted to sign a particular wrestler of WXW. He refused to sign, so they started buying shares in the company and actually outright eventually bought the company. So he's got no choice now. He's already a part of them, really. Yeah, Walter's WXW champion. I haven't even seen too much of his gear, actually, what his stuff is. I guess also, you see, the two big shows coming up then, we've got NXT War Games and you have Survivor Series. Are you looking forward to them equally, or just as kind of separate entities? Because I still feel NXT feels very different.
Well, the fact that they feel different makes NXT the special brand. It always has. Ever since I first started watching it after NXT's arrival, it's felt different, and I like it because it feels different.
I found a magazine yesterday.
I'm looking forward to both shows because NXT, everybody on that card every time is just told, go out there and kill it.
Yeah.
Which I just don't feel they get told that on the main roster. It's a case of go out there and kill it so far, but don't outshine the main event.
Yeah, that was what was it? I don't remember who actually said it. I still remember reading it in a magazine. It was a case of you can do anything you want, but again, like you said, don't outshine the guys who are going to have these spots in the main events because you don't want to outshine them. And when you saw guys in WCW like Benoit, Saturn, and Eddie Guerrero having better matches than the main event guys, you couldn't help but go, I want to watch those instead.
Excuse me. Exactly, and that's why they became the stars that we all wanted to see.
Yeah, just not in WCW. They did that in WE or F at the time. So you and I both saw NXT.
Sorry.
No, I was just going to say NXT last week then. Man, what a finish! What an end to that show. That was fucking amazing.
Yes, because Nikki's got a secret.
That I don't like. That just.
I thought it was funny, and the fans were in on that as well. Nikki's got a secret. I love that. That's fantastic.
I don't know. I just it came across a bit campy, a bit cheesy, but I guess it has a place. And plus, it puts on TV again, so I can't really argue.
Do you know what? I miss the days where wrestling was a little bit funny. Just a little bit. I mean, I miss the days of Kristian and Edge having their banter with Mick Foley, where they were trying to constantly get out of matches. And Foley's there going, completely busted! And they was like going to skip on a world title tag team match because they had surfing lessons at 12:15 at night.
I can remember that. That's scary. That's going to be like, what, 2002?
2001.
Ah, scary times. So you have gone into War Games
2000. Then. It got up 2000.
2000? Fuck, 20 years ago.
Damn it, I'm old.
I do, we are.
When did that happen?
So Tommaso Ciampa. Fucking beast. Love that guy's work. He's squaring up against Velveteen Dream, which I did think was a bit odd pairing, how them two have kind of circled each other and got their match going on. But they're going to go out there and kill it, like you said.
Absolutely.
Aleister Black.
There's no way they won't.
Aleister Black, I think, has a character that might have an aura kind of that resonates with the same kind of power as the Undertaker. It's just doesn't have to say much, just wrestles and does his stuff. And the fans absolutely love watching this guy. He just seems to have that kind of a vibe about him. Not because of the occult stuff, it just, I guess, his persona just kind of oozes that. I know when you saw him come back and kick ass.
It's true, but didn't Bray Wyatt have the same thing?
Yeah, he did, yeah. And the main roster kind of.
His dark character, which was cultivating, and what you wanted to be, you wanted to know more, but he never told you anything. And they just beat that out of him.
No, you're not wrong there. You're not wrong.
In less than 4 years, he's Bray Wyatt, that kooky guy.
Who got beat at WrestleMania by The Undertaker and then hasn't really had a good feud since, apart from that thing with Randy Orton last year, which was a bit...
I kind of liked it when they were teaming up. I thought they had pretty decent chemistry, and it was against American Alpha, and I thought there were some really nice tag matches.
Yeah, they were. American Alpha was also a team where they should have been in a better position, or a different position to what happened to them. The whole thing with Kang was something very silly. They should really be... They should really have gone against like the world's greatest tag team, right? At some point.
Yeah.
That should have happened.
That would have been awesome.
Just
Fight
to have
for Daddy's love.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So yeah, obviously Aleister Black literally comes back, kicks ass, literally. And there's a certain moment where he's going through the stage door and a guy just opens the door and his spinning roundhouse kicks this guy's face clean off. Oh, that looked sweet ass.
Oh, and the fans reacted to that. It's like, oh, he killed him. He's dead.
And then obviously he's in the ring. I don't know if he's going after the ref or he's got someone in his hand. And then Johnny.
It was
Regal. You're right. It's Regal. Then Johnny Gargano's there, and it's like it's me.
A Gargano heel turn.
I did not expect it to be Gargano. I didn't.
No. I didn't think it was ever going to be Lars because it was too obvious. There was too much of an easy storyline there. It's like, I've missed all these months with my jaw being broken by you and your kick, so I'm going to murder you now and put you out. That makes sense. So that's why it made even more sense to not do it.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely right. So you have the War Games match itself, the double cage WCW style. So you have Dunn, Ricochet, and the War Raiders versus Undisputed Era. So this match is going to be epic.
Yes, because the Undisputed Era can't have a bad match. Somebody, one of them, two of them, or all of them sold their souls to the devil to make sure that they cannot have a bad match.
And Pete Dunne. I don't think I've ever seen a bad Pete Dunne match yet, at all.
Do you know what? I don't think I've seen a Pete Dunne match that I didn't want to watch again.
Yeah, same as Ricochet. War Raiders, awesome. For guys their size doing what they do, I'm in love, so it's all good.
Yeah, it'd be great for as long as they're in NXT, then they'll go to the main roster and they'll beat that out of them as well.
I think they'll become like the next gen Bludgeon Brothers or something, who actually are supposed to be doing alright, actually.
Yeah, Bludgeon Brothers have been around and they have flashes of importance. Yeah.
Same as the Bar, I guess. The Bar are important, but I never feel they're really important. They're just there, doing their thing.
You say that though, but they're 5-time tag team champions, and if the thing that people forget is Sheamus has done so much, and Cesaro is every bit as good as he should be, and he should be further up the food chain. He should be going for the world titles and stuff. And he's proven it against the best at different times. He's had matches we've seen in Rollins and Reigns, and it's been excellent every time, but he just can't get up there.
So actually, going back to this week's NXT, then you had like Chris Hero, whatever his name is in NXT.
Cassius Ohno.
Cassius Ohno. It just doesn't make any sense to me when I see him. He had literally like a killing match against effectively Jobber. And it's a brutal match where he just kicked ass and chewed bubblegum. I should have thought his stuff and I'm going, man, why isn't like him back with Cesaro again? Just back on a main show. I'd love to see them as a three-way or something. That'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah, it would be nice. They're just not.
No.
Like that.
Well, in many ways, I guess Chris Hero actually makes sense being the lead introductor of all the guys coming through NXT. He's the perfect guy to be a solid guy while also
been part of his gimmick as well. He's threatened to break the next flashy toy that comes through, which by my book would be Matt Riddle.
yes, yeah, Matt Riddle. I saw him actually compete at WCPW's World Cup of Wrestling last year, and yeah, he had a great match against Marty Scurll, I think it was. That was awesome. No, he fought Will Ospreay. That was a really good match. So I can see what he does in WWE.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But the NXT, they've been playing with WWE's new signings. They've got new toys all over the place.
They have.
Mercedes Martinez had a really good match against Nikki Cross. A strong performance. Nikki obviously won it because she's top bitch on there. But it was a good showing. We had Mia Yim. She's had a NXT official signed up match and another decent performance. What else was on there? Matt Riddle, as we know, he had his first match on there. He kicked ass. And I don't know if anybody knows who Humberto
Carrillo is. Yeah.
He had a nice match. He was teamed up with Raul Mendoza, who was one of the Cruiserweight Classic contenders a few years back.
Yeah.
And they've used him as a jobber on NXT for the past 2 years. And them two had a fantastic match teamed up against Larkin and Birch.
Yeah.
It was pretty short, but they got a lot of nice stuff in there. I'm expecting to see some good stuff from both those guys if they're allowed to flourish.
Yeah, absolutely. So then we're going into Survivor Series, which is the thing is, is it going to be another case where Takeover is a better show than the main quarterly show that is the WWE's main event, the Super Pay-Per-View, which is Survivor Series? I think they're going to overshit.
Survivor Series, ever since the brand split, and they've done a pretty decent job of keeping everybody separate, and I like that. They pretty much kept, if you're on SmackDown, you're on SmackDown. If you're on Raw, you're on Raw, and that's it. They've done a pretty decent job of that. They've kept everybody away from each other. And I can also see this whole World Cup of Wrestling thing having some sort of implication in this as well.
That's interesting. Yeah, I can see why you'd say that, because I guess you really should have competitors from both brands competing in the various parts of the world. Fireworks are still going off over here. So I guess we've got the card in front of us here. I'm looking for Women's Championship match: Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch. Quite looking forward to see how that plays out.
Yes, first match announced, and wow. If you're not looking forward to that match, you better be checking your pulse. I think you're dead. That is going to be awesome. And both women have cut promos on SmackDown last week and Raw this week, and they've made it very clear that the other one's going to rip the other one's arm off and beat him with a soggy end.
Because who is going to be heel face here? Because I guess, is this where Survivor Series is a different show because they have their own heel face mechanics on their own show, and now when you put them together, who cheers who at this show? Because Becky Lynch, of course, is this anti-hero. Ronda Rousey, I guess, is the company person they've pushed forward, who is a great competitor. I think Ronda might actually get booed at this show.
I don't know if she'll get booed, but it will be more behind Lynch. I really believe that. And if Ronda dominates for any length of time, they will be all over her and all behind Lynch.
Do you think they will do the Stone Cold Bret Hart thing at this show between Ronda and Becky, where Becky passes out or something?
It's
in a submission. She doesn't give in, and therefore she has greater spirit, and she just passes out in the pain, as it were.
I would like that to be the case, because right now they've turned Becky Lynch heel, and the fans don't care. And I'm one of them. I will cheer for that woman. She is awesome. She is right now the Stone Cold Steve Austin of the women's division. because she's fought, she's clawed, she got to where she was going, and then someone else jumped the queue. And you know what? It was one of those perfect things where the heel has the valid point.
Yeah, you're right.
And she was pissed.
And rightfully so. Yes. You've taken my spot. That should have been my spot.
Yeah. You jumped the queue, you took my belt, screw you. Screw you. And they haven't gone a step wrong with Becky Lynch since. They had the heel turn. They had the match at the Super Showdown where Lynch cheated, but I think that was the last time when they've decided to give up on trying to push Charlotte down your throat and Lynch as the heel. Because at Evolution, where that last woman standing, it was brutal.
Yeah, I think they did a good show with that.
Brutal. And since then, they've just let Becky Lynch have a microphone, go out there and tell you, I'm going to kick your ass and there's nothing you can do about it. And then they've had to go out in the matches and kick people's asses and there's nothing they can do about it.
Yeah, we like that. We like that a lot.
Fans lap it up, and so do I.
So, we're going to see an IC versus US title match, which I guess hasn't happened for quite some time, right? Two equal belts.
Since Survivor Series last year.
So they should have equal standing. You know, these people are now against each other. So we now got a match that we haven't seen before. Seth Rollins and Shinsuke Nakamura. Which literally has a fucking 5-star written all over it. It should be the better match of the night, in my opinion.
Yes. If AJ Styles and Brock Lesnar don't do what they did last year and steal the show. And I just said Brock Lesnar and steal the show in the same sentence. What is going on?
Oh, it depends if he turns up, I guess.
I will turn up for that. We all know he likes Styles.
Yeah.
That's why he puts over some of his stuff. Otherwise, it's like suplex. Shout at you a little bit, maybe punch you. Suplex. F5. Haha.
I'm going home.
King. Yes. Pay me my money.
Yeah,
$5 million, thank you.
Yeah, you know what I saw yesterday? I was on the WWE Network. I had it on while I was doing some stuff, and it rolled through the shows, and it went to that kind of phenomenal AJ kind of promo video package that's at the bottom. And I was on for like 2 or 3 minutes about how he's come through the WWE and how he started at the Royal Rumble, and then they actually started showing the Rumble match, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll leave this on, and it's amazing actually how his physique has changed. You know, from when he first came into how he is now. He looks like he's been in the gym every single day because he now looks ripped as opposed to being. He's got some muscle, but he looks kind of thin. Now he looks like a WWE person. And of course, when he fought Lesnar last time, that was only 6 months into that. So now we've got a year of AJ looking like he's actually got better, a lot better. He looks like he's a champion now. He looks like he has the right stature. He looks like he has the right poise in the ring. So, and he looks like he can legitimately go against Lesnar in terms of his ability. So I want to see how they play this match out.
I don't care. I'd play it out. I just think it's going to be another great match. Unless, of course, the swerve is in the meantime and Styles gets beat like Jinder did last year, like with a week to spare or something.
Yeah. You know, Jinder Mahal, the greatest champion ever. At one time, they were saying, it's just not even been on the radar this year since.
Yeah, what was it? Oh, on Raw, didn't he job out to Apollo Crews? The guy that couldn't get a win off anybody so far.
Oh, really?
But he beat Jinder Mahal.
The Mahal. Not getting there. Yeah, so men's Survivor match. Survivor Series match. The 5-on-5, the match that's not yet in a video game. Braun Strowman, McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler. I guess that might line up Dean Ambrose on that team.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And
But then again, maybe. But what you have to remember is there's no point because Rollins isn't going to be on the same. Actually,
who's going to make it that 5-man team? Do you think they actually would surprise and bring someone in? I don't know. Someone you wouldn't expect. Who's it?
Like
Who's?
last year, and we're just bringing John Cena randomly.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Just someone out of nowhere.
It could be
Or
the
the
job
Rock.
guy inside of like 3 minutes.
Yeah. Or bring the Rock in or something like that.
Yeah, the Rock's going to come back to be a member of the 5-on-5 match.
So the SmackDown team. Who's your bidding for who's going to be on there?
Daniel Bryan, possibly. Although I think I might actually break down and cry with excitement if they actually offered the possibility of Kurt Angle versus Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
If
Sylvia,
they made that.
Sorry,
would you mind just not?
I had to get rid of God off
Okay, just
cream cheese.
cream cheese. Okay. Okay. Back to the most important things.
If there was any possibility of the WWE actually putting on Kurt Angle, Daniel Bryan, this is it. Kurt Angle's back in the ring, actually having one-on-one matches, and Daniel Bryan's back. It could happen.
Do you think they would tease that for Mania?
If it guaranteed is getting it, tease it for Mania, I'll wait. Happily.
So,
I'd also like to point out as well, I don't know if you saw Raw already this week. The main event of Raw this week, after certain shenanigans and all the rest on it, it ended up being Kurt Angle in his first singles match on Raw in 12 years against Drew McIntyre.
all right, okay. So,
And it was good.
would they actually
It was
put?
real good.
Would they put Angle on Team Raw?
If they don't have anything for him, yes.
Because I could see them doing that actually. Because again, you can.
At least he's in ring shape this year.
Yeah.
Last year he was in ring shape and he was injured as well.
He's always bloody injured, man. The guy who wrestles broken.
It's like Jim Cornette says, I've never seen driving a man like that. That guy's going to be working 2 years after he's dead.
And Team SmackDown, I guess there's nothing coming together for that yet. I can see someone like Ty Dillinger or something. Just like
Samoa Joe.
Yeah, Joe.
You've got to go Samoa Joe. Well, Nakamura's already taken. I can't think of anybody that's on SmackDown at this exact moment.
How crazy is that? They should have a roster that's huge, but yeah, who actually stands out as being in the kind of elite echelons of SmackDown?
Well, that's the thing. Unless, of course, you work with Styles, you.
Jobber.
So the SmackDown team should be Daniel Bryan and
I mean, the Usos or
Samoa
something.
Joe. I'd like the Usos to be on that team because they are phenomenal.
Yeah, they still don't deserve. So they don't seem to get the recognition because like when you say Usos to people, they go, "Who? I don't know." But their work in ring is great.
Yeah, that rivalry they had, was it last year or the year before with New Day over the
Yeah.
SmackDown tag team titles?
Yeah, enjoyed it. It was really good.
I mean, I think it was SummerSlam where there was put on the pre-show and New Day and the Usos went, oh, mistake, and had probably the match of the night
Yeah,
on the kickoff show.
that's the way you do it.
And it was SummerSlam as well, and it was a hell of a stacked card.
Yeah, so Women's Survivor Series match, I guess, is going to be this year. Is it going to be like the Horsewomen versus the MMA women or something? You know.
I reckon they'll do that, but right now they're not going to do it because
Because I guess it's going to be Bailey, isn't it? Just to fill out the team, it's going to be like effectively the match we saw at Crown Jewel with a couple of extra people each side.
Yeah, probably. I wouldn't be surprised.
Do you think they'll?
Nia Jax will be on there.
Yeah, maybe they'll throw a legend in there at the same time.
Maybe they'll
Throw Trish in there.
Shouldn't really. It should be someone that's there all the time because that's the point. That's why the Raw the men's SmackDown last year didn't work very well because it was John Cena who's barely there, and it was Triple H who barely wrestles, and it was Kurt Angle that had his second match in a year.
Yeah, not good.
It was at the time. You guys don't wrestle. Why are you on this? And yet, at the end of it as well, it was all the old guys and Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I am a huge fan of Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker and Kane and Triple H and the older guys. I love this stuff. I always did. But don't put them against each other. Don't. Put them in there with younger guys so they can do all the work and still make the older guy look good.
Yeah, that's an
It's
aspect.
just harmful. Seeing Triple H and The Undertaker in that half an hour long ball fest damaged both of their legacies, in my view. In bringing Shawn Michaels out of retirement after nearly 8 years to go into some tag team match.
Yeah.
I didn't want to see it. I didn't care.
I don't want to
And
care.
that was another half hour long ball fest.
Yeah, it wasn't a great pay-per-view. A main event, was it?
No, like I said, as soon as you got past the semi-finals of the World Cup, no, sorry, after the WWE title match, that was it.
Right, fair enough. Look, I think we've clocked it to an hour here. So shall we draw our podcast today then to a close this time? And some of the stuff that we've got in mind, perhaps for next time, we've got some stuff lined up to come up as part of a special. So we're going to be covering wrestling, so movies that feature wrestlers, and there are more of them you can possibly imagine. We're going to go through some of them and pick out some favourites, some good ones and some bad ones for various reasons. So we're going to move that on to next time. So for us this time, Wrestle DX plus Alpha, we're going to clock off here. That's Kevin, I'm Kristian. So until next time, we will see you then.